What's up, everybody? We are here. Welcome back to the channel. Let me get this off of here. Oops. There we are. How's everybody doing? We got a few people already in the chat. So we are back, and we've got a good night plan for you guys. So go ahead and let us know that you are seeing us hopefully clearly tonight. We worked extra hard to try to make that happen for y'all.
Do a little rearrange.
Yeah, we relocated for this stream because our internet is really bad over at the other place. So can you hear us? Please give us an indicator that you can hear us as soon as possible. If you could, go ahead and shoot us a comment. I want to make sure you can hear us. So welcome back to the live stream. We are going to be talking about a few things tonight.
Yes, we are. We're going to be talking about basically how you can make your barn door. How you can make your barn door not look like just a metal building, not just a box. Add some curb appeal and the different things that you can do to the exterior to make it look, custom, make it look, different than some little kit that you got from a metal store or something.
Yeah, so we hear this all the time because there's a lot of people, especially like husbands, and who will tell me, and I'm sure wives or whatever, we reach out to her. But we hear it all the time. A lot of folks who say, hey, is there any way you can make them not look like a warehouse? So that seems to be like an immediate thing that everybody focuses on a little bit. And so we are trying to address some of that stuff, give you guys some practical value today. And we know that y'all's time is precious too. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of give you a lot of these things that we have prepared. And I think we have somewhat of a slide that we're going to be showing you as we're able to discuss some of these things. So you guys bear with us because some of this is newer. The back end of trying to, I guess, present or show you guys things is a little new for us. So we're working on it so we can keep you guys with high-end technology here. So that's what we're doing. And we are going to save some of your questions, but we're going to be going back through the questions here in a minute because we're going to open that up. So again, that's part of the live experience. So we hope you guys will stick around because we look to repost these episodes on our podcast. So we want to get that value out there to you guys immediately. Now, it's just us talking, so there's going to be breaks. There's going to be pauses. Anytime I'm talking, there's pauses. This is my nature. I don't know. I'm just a slow talker, you know. And I think on the last live, people said it was called mansplaining or whatever. But
well, the good thing about it is a live, so you can watch it in real time. But him putting it as a podcast, you can actually go back if what did they say again? Or I want to go back and look at it again. Or maybe you missed the first part of it. You can go back and watch the whole thing. So
yeah, so that's what's great. And so we really want to get the quality as good as we can because we want this to go to YouTube. And a lot of you are coming from YouTube today. And we have some folks on Facebook. And I don't know, this will be the first time we're live streaming on LinkedIn tonight. So I'll be interested to see if we have any folks following us over there. But wherever you're at, we appreciate you guys joining us on this stream. And that's always exciting when you can. I don't know if Instagram is on or not. So that's last minute there. I kind of went back. I was going to make sure it was live, and I couldn't find it.
Yeah.
So we may be missing.
Looks like it's on, but
yeah, we may be missing Instagram. I don't know, but for you guys that are here, we're so thankful. And so anyways, so we're going to get into some of this. and just share some of this stuff with you. But hopefully you guys had a good day. I got out and about a little bit. The weather was sun shining.
Yeah, it was almost summer. I'm wearing shorts. It was like 74 degrees here. So it definitely is a different feel than a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I just turned the air conditioner on in our house because it felt like it was 80 degrees in the house.
It probably was.
Yeah, so I'm like, I am sweating. It's probably some of these lights that we got going on, but so we want to really try to help you guys if you're planning your barndominium, and for those that are going to watch this later, that's what this is all about in the immediate. So we appreciate you guys. I see a lot of folks from Abilene and New Mexico, and you guys go ahead and put in the comments where you're at. That would be great because we can look back at that and just see where all of you guys are coming from. So let's just start with, let's see if we can give them something to start with.
All right. So bear with us because, again, we had to kind of throw a slideshow together and things like that. So we're going to try to show you some examples while we talk about the different bullets.
And why it's important, because this is your home, and I always tell people, like, look, give it a little flair, try to put a little emphasis on it. And like I said, we want to, let you know that it doesn't have to be plain and dry. Like, you can add a little, lettuce and tomatoes,
personal touches,
and some onions.
And there's some things that you have to pretty much incorporate with your build. And then there's some things that you could update later if you maybe bought one existing and you wanted to change it up and kind of make it your own, or update things later, like lighting.
Now, I know a lot of people too. Some people, like, for a more contemporary look, simpler sometimes is better for that look. So people that are going for the industrial look, instead of maybe having, it's going to be cleaner lines. You're going to try to be accomplishing a couple more things in that scenario.
Yeah, and we've got customers from all walks of life. We have some that want a modern feel, like you said, the industrial. And then you're going to have some that want it more like a homey feel, homely, more, feel more like a home instead of, you have different opinions. So it was kind of neat though, because we had a little bit of we had somebody write up an article about us, and they featured one of our barndos. And so that was kind of cool, but you kind of get opinions and comments from people that have never heard of a barndominium, and they're not interested, they've never seen it, and they're like, what is this? So it's
Did you guys see us in your inbox on your Microsoft Edge? If you have that, I don't have Microsoft Edge. Most of what I got is Apple, but they did an article, Sarah Jameson with Green Elements, I think is the name of it, did an article, and it was on MSN.com, which that was pretty cool. Like,
it was a surprise. We didn't know they were doing that.
Yeah, we weren't expecting it, but that was pretty cool to be able to, like, somebody's out there doing some promotion for you for free.
Yeah.
Which is always great. So if you haven't seen that, we posted it everywhere, I think last night, because I just confirmed that what had happened, because early yesterday morning somebody sent me a text and said, hey, I saw you, this is what I saw first thing this morning. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I'm like, hey, who posted that? I'm looking.
Where'd that come from?
Well, I thought, well, somebody probably took our pictures and put it on Pinterest or something like that. And then later I started getting some other messages, and everybody's like, hey, we saw you on an inbox. So that was pretty cool. So let's go ahead with it.
All right. So we just kind of put down some bullet points of things that you could add to your build, some things that would kind of add some curb appeal and some, kind of change it up and add to
number one.
So number one is shutters and cedar accents. So that's a really easy thing that you can add to your windows. You can do the painted shutters and kind of give it a different color than the metal behind it, so that it would stand off a bit. We have people, so this is our in this Barndominium. You can see there that they've got the different shutters there, and then they also wrapped their posts on the front porch with cedar.
What were you going to say? You have people that what?
I don't know. Lost my train of thought. You changed the picture,
and
I was
y'all
like,
thought
oh,
it was
there it
just me that's pausing. But so I think there's just, this is the Ennis Barndominium. Initially, I don't think on this build we were planning to put shutters, but it is something that our clients wanted to add at the end, and we're like, hey, that might look really good, and I think it did. It turned out really good. It kind of just right at the last minute, on a build like this, it's kind of fun because you spend all the time working on a project, and then right at, it's like the final touch, is to put those,
the icing on top.
to put those shutters on there.
Mm-hmm.
I have to switch that around. So, and then also now all of our posts are steel posts, but this is what it looks like when we wrap them with cedar. So on this one,
now the only thing about adding the cedar, it definitely adds the warm touch as far as like the wood is concerned, but you do have to stain it, you will have to maintain it, so things like that you want to keep in mind, because it definitely helps add some flair to it. But it's
another thing is on the posts that we want to show you is on our Eustace Barndominium. Now this is a live edge cedar. Is that right? I said that right?
Yeah.
So this is fresh cut cedar posts that our customer went out and cut himself just over the weekend, and brought them and laid them out and said, this is what I want to use for my posts. So we also did this, and he did this. It was similar to our Hill County Barndominium.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what this was patterned after. And for those of you that are listening on the podcast, you're going to have to watch this. If you want to see the pictures, you have to go back and view some of these on there.
Well, one other thing you can do is look on the YouTube channel and look up the Ennis Barndominium or the Hilltop Barndominium or the Hill County or the Eustace, things like that. You can look up those barndos and you can actually watch the full tour. You can actually go kind of get a better glimpse of it. We just grabbed one picture just to kind of give you an idea of what we're talking about, but you can definitely go back and watch those videos and see a little more in depth us walking through it.
Now we may come back to some of these pictures as we go through this, but those are two great examples of just adding some of that character into your home. Whenever you're trying to warm the tones on the exterior. And so I was telling her, I was like, well, we could go inside and talk about some of those things, but I think we're going to save that for another episode.
Yeah, we're
going to come back and talk about interior ways that you can beautify that are going to specialize for the Barndominium. So, that's using wood accents, I think is a good way to title that, number one.
Yes. All right. The next one is going to be a big thing that you kind of have to plan ahead for. It's not something that you're probably going to easily add later. Is going to be your overhangs.
Yeah. And we could even pull back this, the same picture up, because you're going to see the overhangs that we have. Now, early on when we started doing these builds, we were really interested in being able to, number one, have overhangs, because we felt like it was going to simulate more of a residential style. Now, it's not cheap, it is more money, but none of these things that we're talking about tonight none of this stuff is standard cost.
Right.
Everything that we're doing here, we're talking about how can you accessorize on the exterior so you can really beautify your build, is what this is all about. So
the one thing I like about adding the overhangs, I mean, it does, like he said, cost extra. However, it's going to add kind of some extra protection for your windows and doors, instead of water coming directly down. It's going to give a little bit of protection on that, but it also gives some dimension. Instead of it looking like a box, like you said, it looks more like a home. You could actually, utilize that, those soffits too, even with lighting and things like that.
Right. And that's what's key about what we're able to do, and obviously to mix up some of the colors. Now, under our soffits, we normally try to keep those a lighter color under the porches. And I don't know if that's included in this subject or not, but when we're talking about overhangs. But let's see, we had some other pictures we wanted to show you guys too for this. So let me try to get those pulled up. I thought you had this in order. Who's running this show? So which one did we see? Which one you want to look at?
No, it's fine.
What is this?
I think that's Heiko.
Is this Heiko?
I believe so.
Okay, let's go to.
Let's check it out, Heiko.
Take a look at Heiko. So this is awnings. I don't know if you call them that, overhangs, but awnings over your windows. That's something. Now we probably have more pictures. We just ran out of time for tonight, but the awnings can really kind of create a look as well. And of course, we have the overhangs going over the gables, and then you have the awnings over the windows themselves. So, and here we have some other kind of accents, that we're doing with a bunch of these things are going to get redundant, but we really wanted to show you kind of some of these awnings on this build. And let's see if we can show you what else you got.
So the next, after overhangs, we're going to talk about porches. Porches.
Okay. Before we go to,
no?
Sorry. Well, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with going to porches. Now, before we go to porches, because I don't know if one of these things are on your list, but let's talk about dormers.
I do not have dormers on the list.
I know, because there's a lot of things that you
I forget.
Anyway, so this is a great example because you have the awnings over the windows. We have the overhangs going all around the porch lines. Now, this is our Lucas Barndominium. And
it kind of has it all.
You can kind of see it has it all. This is part of, look at some real accents here.
So let me ask you, because I'm just asking you so that you can tell everybody. Those dormers are actual, they're not dummy dormers. Those are actual dormers, right?
Well,
into that attic space.
This was all, we actually wood framed, try not to cut you off there. We actually wood framed all of this while we were doing some of our wood framing. We went ahead and let the framer go ahead and frame some of that up through our roof lines. That's how we did these dormers on this particular build. Now we've done it, like if you look back at some of our other builds, like the Mansfield Barndominium, we had some dormers on that build. But aesthetically, of course, you got a lot going on here. We've got shutters. I mean, we could have just showed this one picture, I think.
Yeah, I told you, it has it all. It's got wood accents. We've got some cedar wrap posts there.
Yeah, but also you have some decorative cedar in the gable. This is something that's a little bit different. Actually, that was steel, though. I don't think that was cedar. So we had some steel accents that we did. Now, this was kind of cool because we tied it into our overhang. I wish I could zoom into this picture, but that's as close as I can get. And, you know, as you can see, that decorative gable right there is very close to the wall. It's just something that, you know, sets off the wall about a foot or two.
It's just for looks. It's not really structural, right?
Right.
It's just decorative.
So,
all right.
What else you have to say about that? Anything else?
No. Dormers was not on my list, so I don't have anything to say. No, the next thing that we are going to point out is the porches. porch area is one of the main parts of these builds. To have a porch, I mean, it gives you extra space. It gives you entertaining space. It gives you, you can do an extra kitchen. You can do all kinds of things with these porches, depending on how big you want to have them. Have them wrap around your whole house if you want.
Yeah, how big a porch do you want?
Yeah. You want it in the
How
front?
about one like this?
That one just wraps all the way around.
That's a big porch.
Yes, it is. It's
So
beautiful.
aesthetics here, is obviously, let me just say this. And I love showing you guys these beautiful barndominiums. I mean, that's what we do with the tour videos and Instagram and all of our stuff. But, the stepping it up and doing some of these things, that's what really makes these builds sometimes, is it gives it character.
Mm-hmm.
When you're adding these things like what we're talking about tonight, it takes it from being just a warehouse, so to speak, because I know that's kind of the dry part of it. Takes it from being just a warehouse. Now, a lot of people are just fine with that. They want to go for simple because they want to pay a bunch of extra money. And I think that's great.
And a lot of people just want to spend their money on the inside, the part that they're actually going to live in. But what we're talking about is going to give it curb appeal, resellability, things like that. So
exactly. So this particular build, there was a lot of wrapped around porches. It went all the way around. I mean, 100% of the way around.
This is the resold barndominium.
Yes, this is resold, and of course, it has a shop as well as a detached
pool house,
which is not shown in this picture here. But that is a beautiful barndominium, and it's definitely got a lot to offer. Now, we didn't have shutters here, but you can just see they kind of kept it simple on color, but have a lot of porch and aesthetically pleasing roof lines. This is not cheap to do when you're trying to do gabled porches. It does add cost, but you got to pick your direction. Like sometimes if it doesn't look a certain way towards the front, sometimes you're missing out on having some of that. Imagine if that was nothing but a continuation of the lower porch on the front and then just a single door. Would it still look good? Yes, but would it have the same appeal because of the 3D effect that it puts off on this angle?
Well, and it opens it up too. It kind of pulls in some natural light into those front door. They've got some windows there. So instead of it being, shaded, it actually opens it up a little bit too.
Right. So that for me is, those are some really key things that we do on routine to try to help step it up.
Mm-hmm. You ready to go to the next one? Or do you have any other ones you want to show them?
As far as for porches,
mm-hmm.
Sure we do. We got a lot of porches.
I think we were wanting to show maybe the Sadler porch.
Sadler?
Yeah. We've got some more coming up with
here's a
porches too, but
let me show you this one first. This is an example of how you can take something simple and make it complex.
This is the Maypearl Barndo. One thing I really like about this, so this one actually, what's the width on that front porch? It's not super deep. It's not, you're going to throw a couple of rocking chairs on there and that's about it. But it gives it the dimension from the front that it just really makes the build, I feel like.
Right. So, a couple things that we did here on this build. We actually went with thicker posts. These are not wrapped posts. This is just 6x6 steel posts. So it kind of made it a little more
beefier.
Yeah, beefier. That was something that the client wanted to do on this build.
Because they're normally a 4x4 post, right?
Correct. Yeah. So at least you wouldn't need more than that to support a porch. But here again, this is another added thing that they did here with the steel. Now, if you're wrapping those with cedar, some people don't want to do cedar wrapped because they don't want the maintenance that could come with that. But This was one that it wasn't an easy porch to build, but once we got it going, it's like, oh, wow, that's really nice.
And one thing you can't see on this build, on this particular picture, is off the back, they actually had kind of more like a lean-to. They're able to park like their tractors and their ATVs and things like that under there, and gave them additional like covered parking that they used. We consider it still a porch space because it's got the close off. It's a finished area, and you can virtually use it for anything you want. But
Right. So that's the Maypearl Barndominium for those of you that haven't.
check that one out on YouTube if you haven't walked through that one with us. We'll show you the back side of the house, and also we'll walk through that front porch with you, and you can kind of get an idea of the depth of it.
Right, and this is and I'll say that we're continually posting a lot. We are going to, because it's the beginning of the year, we're going to be going back through. We're going to be sharing clips, like especially like through our Instagram and things of that nature, which goes onto our Facebook pages as well. For those of you that are looking for a little closer look at some of this stuff, those are good places to do that. If you're on YouTube and you want to follow us on Instagram as well, that's a good way to do that.
Yeah, because we'll post some finished pictures of these builds. We'll kind of relive some of them, and then we'll be posting new ones as well.
We also got a good lineup of reels and things like that we're going to be doing, and we're going to be bringing you guys some more informative style videos and stuff like that to YouTube, so that we can help the cause. So,
all right. So moving on, the next thing that you can do to kind of change things up is to do a wainscoting. You can, have multiple colors where you've got, maybe a darker color on the bottom and a lighter color up top, and just kind of break it up where you don't have, a solid. Can you show the Buena Vista barn, please?
Oh, you don't want to see the stone?
Well, I don't want to talk about stone yet. I'll talk about
Okay.
stone next. It's next on the list, but let's talk about the wainscoting. This is just different color metals. I don't believe it costs more. Does it cost us more to do?
It costs a little more.
Because you have that one piece that.
Well, you have
attaches.
some extra flashing involved, and you got a little bit more framing involved to do it like this. But this is, you really can't see. This picture isn't that great because of the sun on it, but you can see there's a color change at the bottom. Again, this is your most inexpensive way probably to add a little flair when it comes to a wainscot. And
what they did here is they matched their garage doors with that lower level of the wainscoting. So the rest of the house is what is that, a burnished slate?
Yes.
Okay. And then the lower is a little bit of a brown, is a lighter brown, I guess. But it matches the garage door. So I think that kind of looks neat.
Yeah, this is a burnished slate trim, and it's actually, I might not be able to tell that well from this picture, but it's more of a blue. And if you go back and watch the tour video, you can see a lot of that. And let me just say this to you guys that may not know this. If you want to see any of these builds, we post all of the pictures to every build is on our website. So that's a little tip for you guys if you're trying to gain a little bit of
inspiration.
Yeah, inspiration, and you can access it any time of the day.
And which I know we're not talking about interiors, but we're really trying to do a Amazon list for these houses that have like a list of their.
Well, we're not trying to, like we have a list already, and it's active. It's just we don't have all the information yet.
For every build, yeah.
Yeah, if you go to our link tree, which is it's scrolling down there on the bottom, linktree.com/Texas Best Construction. That link will take you to a lot of these critical links where we're selling merch, like this hat that I'm wearing. We're selling, well, we're not selling, we're posting a lot of information about building. So a lot of critical links about what our resources. We've got our Barndominium cost calculator there, which has, let me tell you, there's been over 8,000 people that have used that well, they haven't used it, but they've gone to glean information from that. So that just tells you there's 8,000 people that are checking it out.
And we have a document that we posted from last week's that has a list of how to kind of get started and vendors and aren't lenders, not vendors. And there's a lot of information on that as well.
Yeah, we currently have a free PDF for you guys to download, and it's about creating a strategy for building your barndominium. So this is something that will help you early on in the process before you're putting somebody like me to work. This is things that's got to happen, things that you've got to do to build a barndominium. Or really any home, but some of these things are practical and they do translate over if you're building a custom home. So,
all right. So in addition to our wainscoting bullet here is instead of just doing the metal, different colors or whatever, then we could also do the stone accents. Now,
do you want to look at them this
Yes.
time, or you just?
Yeah, go ahead, show me.
She's really trying to keep a lot of stuff from you guys.
I'm not either. I'm not running this show.
Well, here's some stone you can look at.
Okay.
So
this is the Hyco. What kind of stone is that, honey?
I believe, don't ask me the name of it, but
it's on the video.
Yeah. So that's one. What else?
What is that, about a 3 foot?
Yeah, they're 3 foot. And then here's another one. This is a little bit of
the Lucas. They've got it just around.
I believe this is a looter. And
so that they have that just on the front on that one part, and then they have it wrapped around each column.
Yeah, each column's got stone here, and a thing that we did here for our water table, which for those of you, I wish I had a pointer. For those of you that don't know what that is just the clean line that goes right above the stone. That is the water table. So what that is you always want to have a good straight water table as best as you can, because that gives you a clean transition from your metal trim to your stone. So you don't want to use jaggedy stone to try to tie your metal in. So that's something that
gaps.
That's something that we work on quite a bit. And in this case, we did a Eave. So it has kind of a texture color finish to it, but it works well. Eave allows you to kind of create shapes and things like that, which is kind of cool. And I think you can see closer detail. Like I said, you go to our website, texasbestbarndominium.com.
You can kind of zoom in on those pictures.
Or you can watch the tour video, and you could probably gain some of that for this. This is the Lucas Barndominium again that we're showing.
Yeah, Drew usually does like some B-roll of different things, so get a little more up close view of.
You're trying to talk camera talk?
Yeah, B-roll. Barn roll, I guess. No, so
here's another one that has.
This one has a lot to it.
This one has two different types of stone.
So yeah, underneath this wrapped porch, they did 2 different specialty stones. I don't even know what it's called. It was a special order. So the top kind of looks like bricks, and then the bottom looks like stone, right?
Wood. I wish it was a closer picture, honestly, because like I said, we kind of threw this together. So you have more of a natural stone on the bottom, and then on the top, this actually looks like wood, but it's actually a tile. I mean, not tile. This is actual stone. It's like it's kind of a manufactured stone is what it is, but that's 2 inches thick or better for that on the top portion. But that looks like wood is what it looks like, but it's not.
But you don't have to finish it.
Customer did not want to do anything to maintenance on the exterior of this one.
Right.
So also for stone, we can show you this one again. The Maple Barndominium.
Yeah, again they went.
And this is more of a Austin stone is what this one is.
One thing that we talked about last week is knowing where you're going to be building and things. So this might be something that you have to do on your build. potentially if you're maybe in the city limits. Like our Lucas build was in city limits, and they were required to do stone on the front, like 40% stone or whatever on the front elevation.
Correct. I'm trying to show you one more that has stone. I believe it's this one.
That's our cool Barndominium. Super cool. They did a wainscoting around the whole thing, but then right there around that front door and those front two windows, they went all the way up to kind of go along with that gable.
And this is a pebble. What we call this? I call this a river rock.
All I
Or
remember chateau.
yeah, in the door video, all I kept saying was the French chateau. So yeah, it really has a pretty cool effect. So again, you're seeing our decorative gables here. This is a common thing that we do use. And a lot of that's because it's part of the designs. And so it's very, very nice.
All right. Another thing, we don't really have a picture to show you or give you any ideas for tonight, but the next thing is going to be landscaping. And that's one thing that we don't really get to do a whole lot with. That's usually something that's kind of done after we leave, because a lot of people aren't wanting, usually we're dealing with banks and people don't want to borrow money for their landscaping.
I got some landscaping for you.
Oh, you got me some grass. That's actually some sod that we did have laid. There's not any landscaping per se, but
well, we do have some special rocks we
Yes.
put next to the house.
So that was something cool, I guess you could say. They have some planter boxes there along the front and then even down the side that's not covered. But they could definitely add, whatever landscaping, little bushes, little flowers, things like that.
I don't think they wanted a lot of extra things to water. And
Yeah.
so here we put like kind of a weed block, and we put some
like a lava rock or something on it.
That's what I was going to say, but I don't know the actual name of it. But it was more of a black colored rock, or granite. That's what it was.
Okay.
It was a granite rock, and we actually added on the back. There was a retaining wall that we had to build for this one. Really nice. This is the gambrel Barndominium. For those of you that have seen that one, very, very cool gambrel style.
Yeah.
And it has a detached garage, which you can see a little bit in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this was inspired probably by the Chip and Joanne Barndominium that they remodeled. A lot of people, I think, matter of fact, I think they sent us the picture of their build whenever they started this and said this is what they wanted.
Yeah.
Now it's a little bit different because we ended up adding this front porch. I recommended the porch to them.
With that double door on the front.
Mainly because, the double door and that big high wall, that's all an open vaulted living room inside. So, which I think it really kind of added, again, that porch added a little more character to this for sure. And it serves a purpose as well.
For sure. But you could definitely add some stone. You know how the fronts of these are usually pretty square and pretty boxy, and to give it, to kind of give it some curve, like the Ellis County Barndominium that we did a long time ago. I don't have a picture of it, but they did some rounded flower beds in front, and to kind of give it some different curves on it instead of it just being square. So that turned out really pretty.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I keep putting that over your face.
That's okay. I don't know.
All right.
All right. So moving on, the next thing that you can do would be.
How are we doing? Everybody's doing okay. We still got people on. So I can't wait to start answering some of y'all's questions here. So how are we doing?
Okay, so we are like maybe halfway through. So the next thing is going to be decorative lighting. So there's all kinds of decorative lighting you can add to your build. We do a lot of goosenecks, either next to the front door, over the shop doors. But you can do soffit lighting, which obviously would light up your whole build in the evening. And then there's some goosenecks. There's some pendant lights underneath that porch. And then also wall sconces, usually you can put by your front door or whatever. So you can kind of add a little bit of your personal taste by adding some lighting. And of course, then it just makes your whole house light up from the street, or well, not this one because you can't see this one from the street, but you can, it just lights up the whole area and it just looks really nice.
Right. This is a great example because you're seeing a great contrast of colors. Here they kept the theme. I think this is an important part of it too. And I think probably your windows is that coming up?
Yes, it's actually next.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move into the windows as well, because windows really, and this is something my dad always told me, that windows make the house, right? Yeah. And everybody that has watched our good friend Stacy with the Barndominium company, if you've been on Instagram, you've seen how many times have they showed that big old glass door coming up and everything but with all the glass.
Yeah.
And the glass is a big part of the design. Now, of course, there's a balance because you have a lot of glass. You got to be conscious of the fact that energy efficiency, you really want to make sure you're putting good windows. So
yeah, so this one definitely has upgraded windows. That's going to be our next on our list is special windows and special doors. This one has both. So those are special windows. I don't remember, are those black inside and out?
I believe these are, yes,
okay.
On this one.
Okay, so you can get all
so.
kinds. Like you can do a black exterior trim, and then it's white on the inside, or you can do black in the front, in the inside and the outside. You can do all kinds of colors, but these are really pretty black windows. They had a special order those ones up under that gable to go with the flow of the house, and then those are some special doors that they had brought in. So those are iron doors. Those things are heavy. Yeah. They were definitely fun to install.
Let me just say how important it is. Like if you didn't have covered soffits here, it's really going to be hard to create this kind of look. And this is what I'm trying to say, like having closed soffits is a big thing, like for us, in the details, making sure that all that red iron gets covered. And I understand not everybody can do it. Not everybody is specialized in trimming them out and doing what kind of stuff that we do. But this is something that we kind of purposed for ourselves that we were going to do. So
one thing about having the closed soffits, it's going to help eliminate like bird nests and maybe dirt daubers a little bit. They can kind of get in anywhere, but that's definitely going to help with that. And I just love the finished look of it. But They could have added a ceiling fan there. We have a lot that do ceiling fans on their porches, but I like the pendant lights and.
Yeah. So the contrast of colors with the black and the white, like I said, keeping that theme. They did have a black roof on this one. Of course, this picture kind of is more just on that front on shot. And this is more of a monitor style build on the Sadler Barndominium. But if you guys haven't seen this build, I mean, it is one of the more popular builds that we have been known for on our channel. But it is got everything. It's got everything on the interior.
Right.
So it's got like really shiny floors and all of the
bells and
glitter
whistles.
And lace. Is that what you said? Is that how you said? Glitter and lace. Bells and whistles.
Yeah.
So I think lighting is a big deal. You don't want to just have windows, but having some accent lighting at night is key as well. A light in the right spot is always a great way to accent on a home. Plus, nobody likes dark places. So,
Well, something else on those specialty doors, they're not cheap for sure, but they definitely add a lot to your entrance, obviously. The Hilltop
so we're talking
Barndominium,
about doors.
yeah, well, we talked about the windows. We're talking about the decorative doors. So like that one, you can actually open up those the window parts. You can't see it from here, but on the inside, you can actually leave the door shut, but open up the window part. So you can let in some air. It's almost like a screen door
We have
almost.
another example for you.
The Hilltop.
Let's
has
show
another iron
them.
door.
Let's show them another iron door. This is
Okay, this is our coffee build.
Cossey.
Yeah, and so those are black iron doors, and then they have the window
Horizontal. Like
insert.
this is more of a contemporary industrial style that we did on this build. Again, fairly simple, but I want you to take a look in the back there on that door. That was kind of a special overhang that we did, or awning that we did over that door. Had a little more of an industrial look, as you see. I don't know what you call those bars that are hanging.
Cables.
Yeah, those cables, things that are hanging down. That was, like I said, it was more of an industrial look, and that was something that our client specifically was going for on this look.
And going back to even the windows, window placement is huge because you kind of want it symmetrical. The windows, obviously, those upper windows are adding light into that large room. And I know, like even on like the Maypearl Barndo, like they added a couple of windows. They were basically in the attic area, but they finished the look. Like, I mean, obviously you don't need a window in your attic, and you're not really wanting people to look in your attic. However, it finished make it symmetrical.
Symmetrical.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people wouldn't necessarily know that those windows on the far left over there where the lights are not turned on.
Yeah.
Those are the attic. So yeah, that's up and above the first story.
So we're talking about the bedroom.
Now the rest of those windows were fully purposed, but you can't just put those other windows and not the other.
Right.
And we also have windows going around on the other side of that building. So that is important. Sometimes you pay the money for the windows.
The Mansfield build had the same thing. They had some windows that were at the top
that are in storage rooms.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes we forget some of these simple principles when it comes to aesthetics, but it's really key to making sure, that you got a good look.
One thing on my list, which, you can use pretty much any of our builds because it's standard for us, but we paint all of our red iron posts. So say you're not going to wrap them with cedar, we're going to paint them. We're not just going to leave them red, like rusty looking or whatever. So they're going to paint those. So that cleans everything up and gives it even a color. It's going to probably be maybe your trim or gutter color. So that kind of finishes that off. And then
here's a good example of one because it shows the different color. And I like this one. This is the first time I think we painted one a lighter color. Right. But you can see we actually painted this. Now
the gable and
we use a DTM paint when we're doing direct to metal. We use a DTM style paint. So I don't like to have to paint anything really on the exterior, but the red iron comes primed, and I don't advise you to leave all that unpainted because you don't want it rusting and staining concrete and stuff like that.
Yeah. One of the other you can leave that one up if you want. One of the other lists or items on my list is going to be the decorative gable design. Okay. So the decorative gable design is not just a freebie. Like it takes extra metal. Steel. It takes extra time, but it sure gives a great view from the front or whichever direction it's coming from. It always makes it really look nice. This is the Lucas.
So this is a decorative gable design.
Mhm.
And of course, we've got some more examples of windows and
porches, because that one's got a screen porch, which we've only got a couple that have those screen porches.
now here you're seeing some more cedar accents on the back. They were pretty, it was pretty important for them to get some more cedar back there. This was just a beautiful, if you guys haven't seen this Lucas build, it is phenomenal type of a finish on the interior. It ranks up there as far as in my book on one of the higher end builds that we've been a part of. Now we have some great ones coming, but this build right here is one that you're going to want to take a look at if you're trying to step up some of your finishes.
There's two that I wanted to call out. I don't know that we have pictures available for you, but back onto the doors, the decorative doors. They're not always just for decorative purposes, but our North Lake barn door and then also our Clifton barn door have huge.
Our famous North Lake.
Yeah.
Famous North Lake.
Yeah, that's the one where,
we're in the national news. Okay. You guys didn't see us in your inbox yesterday.
Yeah, but the Callisburg, the North Lake, and the Clifton all have those huge panoramic doors. Now the North Lake ones, they just like opened like an accordion. They like to open all the way up. I wanted to open them, but I was like, I don't want to mess with trying to close them.
I want to say that the North Lake had was it 25-foot or was it 30-foot panoramic door? I want to say it was 30-foot, but panoramic door, it all opens now. We didn't take the time to open it on the video because we didn't want to evacuate all of the air conditioning that day.
Yeah, but that's definitely an extra cost. Definitely looked into that before, but it's definitely
you guys know that
the view.
Anything you can buy, you can always buy something more expensive. So I know that we all know that.
Yeah.
You can go to the grocery store, you buy milk, or you can buy organic milk. Or you can, there's all kinds of types of milk, goat milk, all other kind of stuff. She doesn't like that kind of stuff. I like to try new things every now and then, but she's not all about that life.
Mm-mm.
So, anyways. But that's the same way it is here in the Barndominium. There's choices. There's practical reasons why a lot of the products we use. We use the PBR style panel. That panel, the metal panel that you commonly see us use on these, is made to look like board and batten. When they first designed this panel, it was made to look like a board and batten. And so, to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense to pay more money to get another metal panel to look like a board and batten when this PBR style panel is board and batten. Now we do have examples of another type of metal panel. Since I was on that subject, I'll show you guys. This is the Clifton Barndominium. And this was actually a board and batten steel panel. Now that
was special order.
It's not really showing you the details in this particular photo because I didn't have time to get a closer shot here. But if you look in the gable end, you will actually see where the seam is on this panel because they didn't come in anything over a 20-foot length, I believe. So you have a break there. They plan that from the manufacturer. So this is the metal board and batten panels. And I see some people asking like what brand that is. I will have to post that in later. This particular one that we did, I got a little frustrated with because we paid a lot of money to have this shipped in, and they didn't want to. They didn't want to work with me because I wanted them to do some kind of sponsorship deal for the videos and stuff like that. So I didn't really share any of the information on that
He's
particular.
mad.
I was upset because they charged me like 6,000. I don't remember what it was. It was a lot of money to get it delivered from like I don't even know where it was. It was across the country.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
So, but it was
That's better than
something we were trying to get it in. It was a lot of money for shipping. I was pretty frustrated about it. I'm like, hey, can't you guys just work with us on it?
Well,
But
yeah, because we didn't know that they were going to charge that much when we.
I'm looking
priced
for.
it.
Let me just say this, Curtis, because I know you asked that question. I'm looking for other suppliers. But it was still a nice product. I mean, this product worked well. But you know, I don't want to pay that kind of money for shipping to come across, the country, especially if they're not interested in any of our uh, stuff. So, because we can really go the extra mile to really show a product, and we feel like we got a lot that we could do for some of these vendors. And a lot of our vendors have been good to us that we do work with. So what's next?
So next, I'm going to need you to pull up the Italy Barndo
Okay, I don't know if I have the best picture,
view.
but I'm going to try.
Okay.
So let me see what I can find.
This is our one and only that has this, but it has a
It's not the one and only. This is just the one that I got a picture of.
Okay, well, it's got a weather vane on top. It kind of adds to the barn, design or whatever. But it was really cool add-on. It was neat to see that go on because it was one whole piece that was shipped to the shop, and then they had to install it up there on top. But the weather vane was really cool. I think it was a horse.
Okay, I do have the manufacturer. Brandon just sent it to me. Appreciate you tuning in there, buddy. He said that the panels were from Metal Exteriors out of Ohio, and it did cost me roughly $1,500 to ship it across town. I mean, across the country. So I guess that's not as bad as I remembered, but
No, the price of the panels were
really high.
steep.
Anyways, back to this. This is a beautiful
Okay.
cupola on our Italy Barndominium.
Definitely adds a really nice touch to it.
This has got a real weather vane on it. I wish I had more pictures. Let me see. Did I have any other? Okay, there's the front. But the chimneys, the stack's kind of in the way. But this build is one of my favorites. Not only is it one of my favorite houses, just to look at, we really enjoyed working with these folks, and they were really good to deal with. So, but it is a beautiful build. They made some really nice selections on this. You can learn a lot from this one when it comes to the accents. Now they had some cedar, as well as the overhead doors had light in them.
Yeah, that was actually my final point here.
That's your final point?
Yeah, is the shop doors. You can do like a decorative shop door. You can change it up, like you said, with the glass inserts, or you could do a Stacy Lynn door that's just all glass, or even a cedar door. I've seen some really pretty cedar doors. We haven't done any, but there's some really pretty ones. They're a lot.
I don't really want to do a cedar door. I just don't like the idea of it.
Yeah, but
all of our doors are insulated, commercial grade doors. And while we're on that subject, let's just talk about some people that build. They don't really understand that there's a difference between a roll-up door and a actual garage door. A roll-up door,
kind of goes in
a roll-up door has this gap in it, and that gap will allow the door sometimes to kind of move front to back, and it's really thin. There's no way to get insulation on a roll-up door. Don't recommend it, and especially for anything you're trying to kind of air seal at all. I did do a one on like a lean-to or like a little storage.
Storage.
What do we call it? Tool shed.
Mhm.
I did one on that. That's kind of like so roll-up door is kind of like what you get in a storage building for when you're storing your stuff in a climate-controlled storage. But usually those doors are really leaky. But notice on a climate-controlled storage, they put all the doors on the inside. That's the reason why, because they're not going to air condition or climate control areas where they have those outside doors.
Yeah, because as soon as you open it up, all the air goes out if someone leaves it open.
Well, that and they're very leaky. Like you're not keeping any cool air in a roll up door, so you need to use an insulated commercial grade door. Also for the openers, depending on the weight of the door, it could take a commercial style opener. I made a mistake. I feel like on our barn though, putting a 20-foot door wide, 20-foot wide, and it was 12-foot tall.
Yeah, and we've got a couple of Cooper and Hunter mini splits in there, and so every time you open the door, air just goes.
Well, I don't care that much because usually you're trying to open the door, that's fine. But for me, you lose a lot of wall space. So like really when you guys are trying to build your builds, if you really need to think about how much space you want for your wall, because having a big door, I mean, it's nice right now because I can back my boat in there. I have plenty of room and I don't have a problem, but it's a big, it's a big inconvenience to wall space.
Yeah, you can't like put a freezer up against it or things that you would need to put in your shop, whether it be tool benches or whatever. It's kind of like inside your house having a wall of windows. You're not going to hang anything on that window. You're not going to put anything in front of it. Like it just kind of kills that wall space for sure.
Exactly. So somebody said they're a little late, but they're listening in 1.5 speed. I wonder what that sounds like.
I don't know.
I'll probably sound normal.
You up?
I'll probably sound normal. So no, we appreciate it. Welcome in from Florida. So is that the last one on this for all these items?
That was my list. I'm sure I forgot something.
I'm sure you did because we didn't have a lot of time to really go over this list. I was out in the field today doing some things and mobilizing for a job. But there's a lot of other things, and we're going to continue to share more things. And if there's something really critical we miss, we'll put it in next week because we're coming back. We're going to be doing this stuff every week. But, let's go back. You guys go ahead and start putting some questions in for us. And again, we're going to have to apologize to Instagram because I do not think it's on. And the problem is I can't see.
You look through mine.
I can't see if. I
mean, I can see where you can click it that they're going live at 7 p.m., but I'm not seeing.
So we're going to have to we could repost it.
It just won't be live.
Yeah, I'm sorry for Instagram. Anyways, if it's not live, we'll get them on next time. I don't know what happened. We were crammed at the last minute. So let's just go through some of these comments because we want to take a little time and spend with you guys, and you can give us some questions. So Dee Dee says loves us too. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Loud and clear. That's when we're asking if they could hear us.
The stream is great. Thank you. I'm glad. Last week was terrible. Elizabeth's watching from San Antonio.
I kind of like the warehouse look. That's great.
Thanks, Alan. Abilene, Texas, North Carolina, Brandon Price, Allen, Maine, Mark Perkins from Maine.
I think Brenham's too far.
Brenham. Susan says, I live in Brenham. We do any construction here?
Brenham is 100 and too far.
100 and too far.
It's 195 miles. So yeah, that's gonna be too far. Sorry, Susan.
Thank you. And again, I'm only seeing the ones that are popping up in here, and I'm
Which are basically Facebook and YouTube. Let's see. Nacogdoches.
Nacogdoches, Texas. Hey, Sandy. Sheila G. What's
Hey,
up? Sheila. Great Dallas remodel we did for her. Maybe we can build you a Barndominium one day. Thanks, Donna. Thank you, Donna, for coming on. Let's see, who else? Let's get a question here.
Love Lady, Texas. Do we build in Love Lady? Let me look. I don't think we do.
Can't hear you.
Sorry. Love Lady, Texas is, drum roll please, too far. It's 150 miles. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're going to get a little bit of this. A lot of people are trying to vet out whether we'll come their distance. Can we build in Linden, Kildare, Texas? Kildare, Texas.
Seeing that, I don't recognize those.
For those of you using
Linden, Texas is.
For those using for the construction of their barndominium, do you have connection to land sales? I'm sure we can link you up with somebody if you want to call the office, 469-552-8205. That's the office number. Y'all don't wear Sydney out tomorrow.
Linden, Texas is too far. It's 150 miles. Sorry, Eddie.
Talk about that. Do y'all sell barn plans?
Well,
I appreciate you speaking our language here.
This one you can wear Sydney out if you want. I'm just kidding. We do have plans to sell plans.
It's like something that
technical.
It's like something we've been working on for so long, and it just hasn't materialized yet. So we always get this question, so I'm going to go ahead and hit it. What kind of cost does it per square foot? And basically, I think we talked about this last week. It was, so we're roughly in the 175, anywhere from that to $200 a square foot on living quarters. Now, depending on what all you're adding into that, like your site work, some of the other things that get included in the mobilization and some of that on the build, ends up being approximately $100 for living square footage now. But our flat rate is around $175, somewhere in that vicinity. And it may be slightly less than that, maybe slightly more than that, depending on the parameters of your selection. Now, for those people that are trying to get real-time cost at any given time, because you can go back and watch videos where we said it was $110 a square foot back in 2020.
It's outdated.
And that is not realistic anymore. I mean, we went through, a very rough season with all of the price changing and everything that we had to do. And we're blessed to be in business today with what we had to endure through those seasons. So we're very thankful for the opportunities that we've had. But, it's kind of like, I always try to explain to people, like, the margins are not what you would think. So the perks of being a home builder is, for us, is to be, to have something we're proud of. We make a living. That was what we set out to do in the beginning, was to make provision for our family, but nobody's going to be a millionaire because they're building homes. That's not what it's about. So we're excited, obviously, for all the opportunities that we have, but the margins are not super great. So we're having to really watch those as we continue to gauge pricing. And we do the best that we can to try to, because Well, let's cover this too, because a lot of people might assume that, oh, it's Texas best. They're super high. Well, if you vet out other people, I think we're really similar.
Yeah.
And
But you
in
got to make
some
sure you're
in
comparing
some
apples to
cases, I
apples.
feel like we're probably cheaper.
Yeah.
But we work really hard to try to eliminate overhead, or not eliminate it, but to try to minimize it along the way. So we're not renting equipment. We bought equipment that we pay for on a monthly basis so that we're not paying huge amounts of money for some of those things. But our equipment costs us a lot of money. The logistics to be in business costs a lot of money. And if you consider the fact that we are a specialized company that goes to these areas, that goes to these places, the trucks, the equipment to erect the steel and to do all the stuff that we're doing. But not only that, we have a customized group of guys that work for us that do the fabrication and the welding, and we bought our own equipment to do the welding.
We had to get CDLs just to hold it.
Yeah,
All the stuff.
finally.
Yeah.
So these kind of things are what it takes for us to produce that product, which it's costly. It's costly. It really is. It's costly to get in the truck and go 100 miles and take everything you got with you, including a lot of materials, because some of our main vendors and suppliers are pretty close to us. So, but it can be costly to generate the effort that we do to be in business. But at the end of the day, that's something that we have to gauge when it comes to cost. And we have to constantly kind of be looking at it. For people that put their projects on hold thinking, oh, it's all coming back down to $110 a square foot, you better come up with another plan to, in general, like you can't buy a house. I mean, this is the going rate for houses, period. And a lot of banks and lenders and all that had to compensate for all the rising costs. So we're all in this together, unfortunately. And so this doesn't slow me down as far as from wanting to build. And we're fortunate, thanks to goodwill and favor and all the kind of things that we've been blessed with, to still be trucking along and have plenty of work going and stuff coming up. So for us, we don't see a slowdown. And at the end of the day, it's kind of, we're hoping that interest rates will come down. That way it'll make it easier on some folks to be able to be positive about moving forward into their dream home. But even so, like, I talked to my mom. She said interest rates were like 15% back in the 80s. So I don't think it's been that bad. Not that we wanted to go there. But anyways, that is on cost. So.
Do we recommend a builder?
Do we recommend a builder in San Benito? I
don't even know where that is.
I don't know where it is, so I would assume that I don't know anybody there, but hopefully somebody in the comments might be able to help you.
Hey, you should look. You should join. Is that one on Facebook? No, that's YouTube. We have a Facebook Barndominium group called Building Barndominiums, and there's so many people on there. I mean, really, you could just ask the question there and say, hey, who's building your barndos in San Benito? And you'll get people that'll say, hey, I'm close to there, or hey, I just had one built, we're not too far from there. This is who I use. They'll tell you who not to use too. You'll get the good and the bad.
Okay, we got some good questions coming up, so I want
to
get back down where it started. I'm sorry, guys, we're way behind because y'all started with these questions way before we were ready. So I was trying to be nice and go back to the top. Let's see. Curtis if you're willing to go back to the board and batten panels, do you think that they're comparable to hardy board and batten, more or less? These are not as far. Are you talking about using hardy?
Instead of the board and batten panels that we have are metal and they were already painted. They're not the board and batten hardy. You're gonna have to paint.
Well, I mean, I know that you can get manufactured colors in the board and batten, like pre-finished. But that's one advantage that we have building a barndominium is I could use any kind of siding that I wanted. I could make it all stucco. I could make it, because our living quarters are zip sheathing on the exterior. So we can go to any type of siding. Now, of course, for us, the PBR style panel works well as like a rain screen because you got the corrugated aspect to it. It's leaving some air gaps, allowing for water to go down to the bottom. And, when I had the chance to ask some people that I look up to, like Matt Reisinger, that was some of our conversation of what we're talking about. And that was, now they have a product that actually has kind of a drip board that you could actually put to your siding as well. And, Hubert Zip, I think, is offering a new product like that, which one of my suppliers sent me a screenshot of that the other day, that they had that stuff. So they're probably like, this guy likes everything Zip. We're going to sell him. But that's my take on it is this. I don't like, for me, the reason why we use it, it's already a pre-finished material. It's the most inexpensive way to cover that wall, and it looks really nice, and it would be easy to repair. If there was damage to it, I could go buy another panel, pull one off, put it back on. I don't have, it's really a no-brainer when it comes to that style panel for the PBRs. So, or the R panels. So we're moving through. Does Mueller sell the PBR panel? Yes, Casey, they do sell that. What is your advice? What is your advice on your favorite color for the outside of a barndominium for weather concerns, dark or light, or does it matter? We love you too. Thank you, Sherry. You want to?
Well, I know a lot of people are concerned, especially in Texas, doing like a black roof. But I haven't heard that they're having any issues with like it, making their utility bills higher or anything like that. I think with the breaks that we have and the way that we do our construction, I don't think that they're having any kind of issues with that. As far
as my favorite colors, I love so many. I think there's I love a white with the black, kind of like that Sadler look. I like that look. I think that's awesome. But we got some beautiful grays and white. We haven't. I like the burnished slate color, the all burnished slate, like our hilltop barndominium looks really cool. There's so many options, and that's what's kind of cool about it. I like the red and white Joshua barndominium that we did. Wish we had a picture of that on here, but
that one was fun because it kind of looked like a barn.
Yeah, it had the barn feel because you had all red with white trim. Very, very cool. Now, on the when it comes to the weather, to me, my position on that, and I always tell people, is like, look, if you're looking to save $15, $20 a month because you got a black roof versus a gambrel, I would do the black roof, because if that's what you wanted to see. So, or whatever it is, I'm going to go for what I want above that, because these homes are really so efficient that it beats everything. Think about it like this. Most of your conventional frame homes, they all have asphalt roofs. So that's hot. it's tar. Essentially, it's tar up there. So those get really hot. And there's nothing that I'm going to put up there that's going to get as hot as asphalt. So
Yeah.
that's my position on it.
Well, I mean, going into our attics is a whole different feel than going into even my house attic. It's really hot in there. So it makes a huge difference just the way that we.
Texas Twin Contractors, thank you for your comment. Regarding insulation, are you still recommending the 1-inch closed cell on roof, followed by open cell and open cell on the walls? That is our current regiment for our wall panels. So that is what our system. Mainly we use that for a thermal break on the direct to metal. If you go to my last video update that we did on YouTube, it's called Navigating. Let me see if I remember what its title was. It's called Navigating Wall Systems and Window Flashings. And it says it on the thumbnail, why are my windows leaking? I feel like there's a lot of people that have problems with their windows leaking, that not particularly my customers, but there's a lot of people in the Barndominium community, because we have a page. We don't do a good job running it, but we have a group page on Facebook called Building Barndominiums. And it's just nothing but nonstop. You know, you got, of course, a lot of ideas, but you got a lot of people who are having problems on their window leaks and things of that nature. But a lot of the reasons why the window leaks, and this is what I was trying to cover in my latest update, had to do with the wall systems that people are using, or the lack of, because they don't have any system. It's just they have a metal building and they have a wall panel, and that's it. Now, I'll show in that video an example of a metal building window flashing. Now, there's ways that I could kind of, better do. I could better hurricane proof, not the good word, because nothing I don't think is rated for 200-mile winds. But there's better ways that you can approach it if you're doing that. But it's a very fine line you're walking if you're trying to use a metal building system when it comes to wall flashings. So, because all you're using is J channel. Anyways, we went into all that on the video. But for my roof system, I also went into what it would take to do a fully sheathed roof where you could put any type of roof system you wanted, which would have put the zip on the roof. But that's going to add a lot of costs. And again, when we try to put our system together, our methods together of how we were going to do these builds, is to try to minimize cost as best as we could, but pick the items and the stuff that's really going to be key for the longevity of your build. Curtis said, is your barn door cost calculator down? Can you?
Sure. So for whatever reason, on the actual website, depending on what browser you're using,
it's usually a browser problem.
Usually, if you switch your browser and do a different way to it, then it will work. Josh says that we can, using Linktree usually is very successful. Like maybe try with that route. If
you're doing it from your mobile phone, I feel like it works well. At least from mine, every time I go on, it works. But if you go to the linktree.com, Texas Best Construction, as shown here on the screen, there is a direct link to the barn door cost calculator. But of course, that's going to the website. So, but from the mobile phone, it works pretty well. Also, switch to browsers, change that up. You might try that. Oh, cool. So you guys, somebody's brand new here. Yes, we build barn doors. Okay. Do you guys do VA construction loans in your builds?
So that's going to be a Brady question. We do, however,
But we don't do the loans.
we don't do the loans, but we will participate, with that. Now, that being said, the way that we would be able to utilize a VA loan with the way that we do our billings is you would need to have a lender that would be willing to basically, excuse me, basically fund the build, and then at the end turn it over to the VA. So Cowboy Bank has been our lender that we've used on a number of our VA loans. I've had people say, hey, I've got, I need to do a VA loan, but a lot of times those VA loans are really, really hard to maneuver through as far as with their inspections and doing all these things. The other thing that's an issue is payment. We're a small company. We can't afford to build your house and then sell it to the VA. Like it's going to have to be, when we do our billings, I bill, either weekly, biweekly, monthly, but it's not a, it's not a one, step process on the billing. So that's the only thing with VA loans is they're a little sticky to
I'm not sure I understand.
Okay. So Cowboy Bank will fund the bank will fund us throughout the build. And then at the end, they will finalize the loan with the VA. I'm not actually dealing with the VA. We're VA approved. Like we have our number and things like that. So we can work with them, but working directly with the VA, it's hard. We can't do it directly with
Isn't VA, there some, and I'm trying to remember because the last one we did, was probably last year sometime. But I'm trying to remember, isn't there some other things that it requires? Like you got to get some special reports and some special insurances and things like that? Yeah, I'm trying to remember. We don't do them super often, but they want termite inspection. Well, yeah. I mean, things like that, like things that are there are some check boxes that you got to go through to do with the VA. Extra steps, there's extra, but that's not some of the major hurdles. I think there was some kind of special insurance and stuff. I can't remember exactly what it is. But the answer to the question is we do VA loans. And you can. But they don't happen. Get a barn with a VA loan. They don't happen super often for us, but it is part of it. So what is your price per square foot on shell only, and what does all that include? So price per square foot on shell onlys. Our shell onlys include all of the. I always feel like I got to tell y'all everything includes because we're wanting to do a good solid new cost video where we're going to explain a lot of this because it's like constant. Ever since we've had a YouTube channel, it's been nothing but how much does that cost? How much is it? How much is it? And it wouldn't matter if I would have told you what it cost 3 years ago because it was going to be different today. And so that information is irrelevant. And that's the reason why we don't just blast costs everywhere. Well, and we have customers that are paying that price and we don't want to disclose their information either. So anyways, that's the reasons, but that's why we have the Barndo calculator. You can see real-time cost. At the tip is at the front of every tour video, we tell you how many square feet the living, how many square feet porch, how many square foot shop, bonus, whatever. And some of these things you can literally take that information and plug it in and you're like, okay, that's what it costs. Well, that's what it takes to find out what the cost is. But for shell only, ours includes all of the wood framing, everything the way we build it, our shell. It stops at insulation time. But all of the wood framing on the interior, like if you're building a home, we're going to build all of the walls on the inside. Because we got to do the zip system. We got to do all of our. Yeah, because we're not going to just frame the exterior walls. We're going to frame everything, all the interior wood framing. And the windows. So the windows aren't going to leak whenever we do a shell for you. We do all the windows, install all the exterior walls, all of the. On the finish, it looks finished on the outside. On the inside, it's incomplete. You got to pick it up at all your trades with your electrical, plumbing, HVAC, your insulation, and then of course
drywall, and then
drywall, cabinets, painting, all that's yours at that point. So we do have a good lineup of shell onlys coming. So we're going to have a lot of potential opportunities to show you guys what that's all about. So we got some great ones on the way when it comes to the shell only.
And that's also an option on the cost calculator. You can do shell only. Give you a price.
Hey, Mike from New Mexico, what advice would you give when looking for a good builder? So we actually covered a lot of things last week for questions that you want to ask your builder. And that's going to help you if you go to our link tree, which is linktree.com/Texas Best Construction. You can go to that link tree and click on the free PDF file that we have there for you. It's got a full list of questions that you can vet out your builder. And then what we've been doing, what we've been working on for those of you that want to build with us, is you'll be able to go to the website, and we've already answered these questions that we put there on that sheet. So our beautiful, sweet Sydney has been working on that over the last week or so. As we put a lot of this information out, she has been trying to update. So let's see. You have our plans for bid. Thank you, Michael. Looking forward to it. Here's a question. Have y'all ever done a duplex style barndominium, like 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a studio, or two bed workshop in between? I don't know. No, the answer is no. We don't have any duplexes that we built currently. I'd love to, if we have more time, we're going to be doing some investment type properties where we might be building some, and we've had some people in the area that's built some. Looks pretty cool. And but I don't have time to be a landlord right now, and I have not done so, and we haven't had anybody ask us to build them for themselves. But I think it's a great idea because you have the low maintenance on the exterior with the efficiencies. I think it's a beautiful thing if you can make it happen. So thank you for the question. Do you recommend the weld up or bolt up in East Texas? Well, depend whether you're in East Texas, West Texas, South Texas. KC, I like a weld up for our builds because if you notice a lot of these porches and stuff that we build, I mean,
you can't do that with a bolt up.
Well, it's not that you can't. That's not the word.
Okay.
Can't is not the word.
Okay.
But trying to get a building ordered from a manufacturer, this is where convenience is. I just draw the line on convenience because the metal building world has not done anything in my world. I don't see it anyways in our region. Maybe they exist in some other areas. So I don't want to knock on the whole metal building world, but I don't feel like they really care about trying to cater to barndominiums. Now I think they like taking the money, and I think they're fine with that. But like in my world where I'm at, like for me to sit and have to wait on them if I send them a design and have to get that some kind of an ordered building,
you're basically getting a kit.
The kind of time that would take, number one, is going to be completely inconvenient for me because of the customizations that we do and the plans that we get drawn. So we've completely enthralled, is that the word? Enthralled. We've thrown ourselves into fabricating what we build. So we put a lot of time in learning to just take the materials and go build it. So A lot of it's duplicated process, a lot of it's constant, but I like a weld up for that reason, because I can, if if I wanted to go get materials to build a building tomorrow, I've got them sitting on the ground. I can go out there to the supplier and put them on the trailer and bring them to the job site tomorrow. And that's what it's about for me, is the convenience of being able to go get the materials and start the project. So like that's been the answer for me, is weld up. So somebody said the link tree was working. Thank you, Elizabeth. We're doing something right, guys. I'm telling you. Big fan from Austin, Texas. Looking to build our first family barn and help others as well. That's cool. Thank you. What's the smallest footprint for a build that you've done or would do?
Do we have the Grayford picture?
DB Douglas. I don't have a picture of Grayford.
Okay.
The Grayford Barndominium for us, square footage wise, living was one of the smaller ones. We did recently post that one on our Instagram, but for pictures. But as far as, and I hate to keep mentioning Instagram, poor Instagram. We didn't get on there tonight, and I'm so sad. But the it was like 500 square foot downstairs.
It was just one bedroom, one bath.
Now, again, it was 500 square foot. Then they added bonus room above. So that's a lot of times what happens.
Yeah. That's
like
what happened at the Hilltop.
The Hilltop Barndominium was originally just going to be a downstairs only. That was going to be a 900 square foot living quarters, which turned into about 1,600. So because of the upstairs. So that's, I'm always like ready. Let's go. Let's build an efficiency style place. But that's the smallest. Now I have some other examples of 1,000 square foot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Douglas, for more.
A maximum square foot.
What's a maximum that I'm willing to build? Well, I mean, I'm willing. If what's the old country song? You got the money, I got the time. So
that's how it goes. But
what is it?
Yeah, if you got the money, honey.
Yeah, you got the money.
Yeah.
No, so the maximum square foot that I'm willing to build. I mean, we actually have one potential coming up. I don't know. They may be watching tonight. It's like I think it's like 20,000 square feet under roof. So some other pretty good large size ones. But
is that going to be a lot of shop?
12,000 square foot shop. So I believe, if I'm remember, maybe it was 7. And I can't remember how much of it was porch, how much of it was. But anyways, there's some big builds coming up. The North Lake Barndominium was 7,000 or more under roof. So let's see, is that it? Am I missing them? Building barn in North Zolch, Texas, with 1845 sectional build on 60 by 60. Any suggestions? My build on 60 by 60. I'm not sure, Eugene. Any suggestions? My build. I don't know on that. Okay. Well, unless I'm missing questions here, did I get everybody's question? If not, pop it out. Pop it again right here, right now. So I think we've been on about as long as we were last time.
Okay. See, aren't you glad we didn't go inside?
Somebody has one more question.
One more question.
One more question. He's typing it in. So you guys, what do you think? You guys enjoying this format? I mean, we're trying to make ourselves accessible to you. I hope that you're enjoying getting a little bit of interaction so that we can bring you guys real-time information. I know how frustrating this process can be if you have questions. You're like, oh, if I could just ask them this or do whatever. Um, so that's just it's great for us too. I think we enjoy being able to interact.
Well, it gives us a way to help people that,
Okay, Rich,
aren't close to us.
he's got one more question,
Okay.
and they live in Iowa, cold winters and frozen ground. And can we build a hybrid barndominium up here? Rich, I don't know why you couldn't. I think what you want to look into is in the municipalities for your building codes and whatever requirements that you guys do differently, maybe in that area when it comes to insulation and all of the necessary things that you want to do for your wall systems. Now you can definitely, do the same type of build that we're doing. There's nothing wrong with that, but you may want to have a little more insulation. You may want to go with a 2x8 wall system. You may want, and you could go to 2 foot on centers if you were doing that. So, but there may be some other added steps that you could do if the municipality or the city had different set of codes.
There's some different engineering they require up there.
Not really engineering. No. I mean, I think structure-wise, it's going to be plenty strong. Now, snow loads, you got to take all that into consideration. But I think I used to work in Ohio. Believe it or not, I used to be a licensed roofing contractor in Ohio. So, but that's not where you're at. You're in Iowa.
My brother's in Iowa.
But snow loads, all those kind of things. Now, I wasn't there long. We were working there doing some work. So we used to travel, which we might have talked about that on the last video.
Elizabeth is asking about a number to call for.
But let me finish, Rich.
Oh, sorry.
So, but as far as hybrid barndominiums, for me, it's just using wood and steel. And you can definitely do that in those areas. My question would be is what kind of manufacturers do you have that sell steel? And then whether you would need to do an engineered bolt-up type building versus what we're doing with the weld ups down here. So that hopefully answers some of that, but I would encourage you to definitely use a lot of the practices that we do when you're building a barndominium. So it might just be a little bit different, have a little bit different flair. Where was I?
Right there at the top, Elizabeth.
Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in reference to...
Thank you. Awesome information. God bless you. Please continue these sessions. What is the number to call for land sales?
So we don't really have like a land sales rep or anything. We've got a couple of realtors that we're friends with. We know that we can give you their phone numbers. I don't have those on me. You can call the office and ask Sydney.
I use realtor.com. I use
it's going to really depend on where you're trying to find land.
There's a local group called Highview Real Estate in our area where we use. Also on, what is it? Is it Zillow now? They actually, they're actually listing barndominiums. They have a whole category for barndominiums now, I think, on Zillow. That's not what you're looking for when it comes to land, but there's Texas Land. I think there's a website called Texas Land. If you're looking in Texas, I don't even know exactly where you're looking for land. This is a common question. Is it cheaper to build up in square footage upstairs rather than larger footprints? So I think it can be, but the things to consider, obviously, I mean, because it really depends day to day, but it's going to be very close, similar. It's going to be very close to similar. But in most cases, I think in certain circumstances, depending on what kind of stairs, it could be the same cost. It could be a slightly cheaper to build up, and then in other cases, depending on what you got to do for your HVAC systems and zoning and what kind of room you lose from having the second story. It might provoke some other challenges or lead you to some other challenges for room on all that. But I always encourage people to look at the design, and to me, that's not a leading factor of how to build. I would focus more on, do you want to climb the stairs every day? I would say no. Okay. These live streams are helpful. We're closing in a build decision. You're helping with good information. Thank you, James.
Glad we can help.
That's what we're here for. We're helping people. Courtney, same question, Rich.
Yeah. He said Ohio. Same thing.
Same thing. You're welcome. Thank you, Rich. Glad we could help. Looking in my building rates because I would. Okay, well, come on. Bring it, Elizabeth. We are ready. So we just want to say thank you guys for your time, because it's very important. And we, know, whatever you're doing, you made time to hang out with us. That's really special. So we're really trying. We want to make time for you. We hope that we can be an inspiration. We can help you in some way, and we feel a certain obligation because of, I feel like, the tremendous advantage and favor that us being able to have the influence that we've been able to have has given us. Number one, so we want to give back and be able to reach back and answer some questions, help people. But we don't want you to have problems with your window flashings. I don't want you to have problems with your foundation systems. And, we want to help you along the way if we can, because that's a big deal. Like, don't build your dream home and sacrifice important details along the way, because it's going to be a nightmare. And then you gotta deal with it. So it's better to go a little bit further to do it right the first time. So that's what we're always trying to do, improve our processes and our methods so that we can try to provide solutions for our own goodwill, number one, and then and that way as well, the information that we're putting out here is not faulty. So that's we feel concerned about that. I don't want to give you wrong information, but we know what works for us, and this is what we're doing. So if you guys will plan it, you come back and you write some questions down. We're going to try to be back here next week if we can. Next Tuesday, 7 p.m. We will try to come on Instagram. It was just a scurry. We were trying to change our location here where we were going to do this because the internet was very bad at the other location. So I had to scramble and grab all of the equipment, everything that we had, so we could try to do it last minute. I only had like 15, 20 minutes. So it was, now I got to go apologize for the way I acted.
Being ugly to me.
I'm just like, nobody understands. I got to do all this. No. So anyways, we really appreciate it. If you guys haven't already, follow us on Facebook, Instagram. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, I hope you'll do that. On YouTube, YouTube's a big part of what keeps us going because it's kind of where we got started. Shout out 150,000 subscribers on YouTube. That's a big, big deal. We never thought, when we started the channel, we had 140 subscribers, and I decided I wanted to pay a guy to help me take some pictures, and this is what it all turned into. And so, so thankful for our team that keeps us out there looking good, doing the right things, as well as all these channels and everywhere that we're at. We want to keep bringing you guys more content. So we appreciate you guys sharing the videos, liking, commenting, all that kind of stuff, and putting up with us. We every day there's somebody who's going off about how much we talk and how slow I talk, and every day.
Mm-hmm.
But we just learned to laugh it off and enjoy the process along the way. This has been a tremendous experience for us. So, we got 4 kids. They're all coming up, and we already got one working for us. Jensen, he's our oldest. He's 18, just graduated last year, as he's trying to set his sights on things. But a lot going on in our personal world, which I think we've done good, even keeping a private life, even though we have our Helm on the Range channel that we don't ever post videos to. But you can see a little bit of that if you go over to our family channel, Helm on the Range. What else? We're coming to Las Vegas.
To the
I'm going
IBS.
to the International Build Show this year.
Yeah.
So, and there's potential that we might be going to the National Post Frame Convention in Iowa. Who was in Rich? You're going to be in Iowa. There's a chance that I might be there. That's something we're talking about. What else is going on? That's what's going on.
We got more tour videos coming.
February and March. Yeah, we're wrapping up tour videos. We got starting new projects. I just mobilized to go to one today. Finally, the rain stopped. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and end this live. It's been an hour and 54 minutes. So
you talk a lot.
We hope that you guys gain some information. We just love hanging out with y'all. I'm Josh Helm.
And I'm Brady Helm.
We're wishing you all the best. Thanks for watching. Texas Best.